Today is Friday, February 2nd, Erev Shabbat, Parshat YItro. Rabbi Ami declares in the Gemara in Chagiga, Ein mosrin divrei Torah lagoy. You're not permitted to pass along the words of the Torah to a non-Jewish person. Shenemar, as it says in the verse we recite every day in Psukei de Zimra, Magid devarav Yaakov chulkavav mishutav Yisrael. God declares His words to Yaakov, His statutes and ordinances to Israel. Lo asachen l'chol goy umishpatim bal yidaum. Hallelujah. He did not do so with every nation, and His ordinances they did not know. Okay, it's a very interesting teaching that says that because God chose not to share the Torah with the other nations, it's not for us to hand it over to them either. There's a teaching that is found in the Pasuk in Ha'azinu. That's actually where a lot of the conversation interestingly begins, where Moshe praises God. Moshe is offering the Jewish people. He describes what happened at Sinai. Hashem mi Sinai ba, that God came forth from Sinai. And then it goes on to describe to us Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha kihilat Yaakov. Moshe gave us the Torah. It is a morasha for the congregation of Israel. What's a morasha? So on the one hand, morasha means an inheritance, like Yerusha in some way. On the other hand, the Gemara has a drasha that reads it not as morasha, but as if it said me'orasa, which means a betrothed woman. And we should understand it. So just like a betrothed woman can't be shared with anybody else, right? If somebody else would try to take a betrothed woman for himself, it will be punishable very severely. So too, no one else is going to be sharing in the Torah. And even according to the first opinion, that it's our inheritance, it sounds like, even though generally you would think you can take your inheritance and share it with other people too, the Gemara seems to say, no, it's theft. It's theft. It's not meant for anybody else other than us. When we read the story as it appears, and in presentation as it appears in Parshat YItro, that's the intention. We'll come back to it in 1 second. Right? We ask the question, why would we not be willing to share our Torah with other people? So there's clearly in many parts of the discussion about this, the concern is for the ways it will be used against us. That it will be whatever knowledge people have will be inaccurate or twisted, and ultimately come back to harm the Jewish people. So we don't share our Torah with them. The Gemara actually has a discussion about Roman emissaries who were sent to be taught the Torah by the sages who had to teach it to them. And they say, we like Torah's very good. Torah's very, very good. We don't like the halacha that says about a goring ox. That's next week, Parsha. A goring ox, that the difference between when a goring ox kills a Jew and if it kills a non-Jew. We don't like that about your Torah. So there's a recognition that, when they have access to the Torah, it can be problematic for us. Some halachas will be not easy for them to handle. And of course, many of them will be hard for them to understand altogether. Especially without some of the oral tradition that goes along with it. But what emerges from our Torah portion is a little bit different. Where God has it very beautifully described, so He says, God says to Moshe, He said, tell the children of Israel the following: Atemri tem asher asiti limitzrayim. You have seen that which I carried out against Egypt. Va'asatchem al kanfei nesharim va'avi etchem elai. I carried you on wings of eagles, and I brought you to me. And now, if you hearken to my voice, and you observe that my brit, my covenant, which is basically seemingly around the Torah, v'yitem li skula mikol ha'amim, then you will be indeed my treasure from all the other nations. Ki li chol ha'aretz. There's a sense that the Torah is meant to be this very specific and personal gift of God to the Jewish people. And if indeed we go back to that verse that was quoted, that says Me'orasa, that we are betrothed, there is a beautiful rendering which suggests that the Torah was part of the betrothal of God to Israel. God is the groom. We are the bride. The Torah is what's given by God, the groom, to us. Mount Sinai is the wedding of the Jewish people to God. This is something very personal, very intimate. It's ours. So, look, I'm not here then to talk about all the very interesting halachic discussions about what you can and can't teach in different situations, but somewhere to actually recognize that this is this is an intimate connection with God. And when we sit and we study Torah and we live Torah and we teach it to others and share it with our fellow Jews and our children, we are sharing something which is very personal and very beautiful. It's part of the love relationship between God and Israel. May that continue indeed. May we never lose our own love of the Torah as it reflects ultimately on the love that God has for us and we for God. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.